Lucky Lefty Podcast. Sonora Boys in the building. SD2 mics. Malik ZAIRE. Man, we did one show truncated this morning. We got it out of the way. Tonight,
that's right.
Special show. 2 for 1. Every Wednesday in the month of April. You get Lucky Lefty Podcast and Three's Company. So we're going to give you about 15 to 20 minutes of LL. And we're going to go right into what we have, some topics tonight. I asked this question to LL Nation. Who invented Vaseline? We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. Who really invented Vaseline? Left has he has some doubts about the official inventor of Vaseline. But we'll let Left explain that a little bit later in Three's Company. Right now, we're going to do a special Lucky Lefty podcast. We have talked about and heard from Marcus Freeman after the blue and gold game on Saturday. And a lot of people left. A lot of people have questions. Some of those questions they had coming to the spring have been answered. Some may have not. But so all of us as football fans now wait, of course, with the release of EA coming up in the month of July. I guess that's the next big thing. But then in August, fall camp starts again. So tonight we want to talk about the ACC opponents for 2024. And who better than to bring in than our own brother, Locked On ACC, Locked On Wolfpack, Locked On College Football. He would probably say the prettier third of Three's Company. You know,
I mean, hey, I can't help it. You know what I mean? I can't help it. You know,
that's right.
You said it, not me. You know, hey, you said it. You know what I mean?
Who was that? Well, you know, was it JJ? What can I say?
Hey, what they say? What he say on Moesha when they were stepping? I'm pretty to the left. I'm pretty to the right. I'm just so pretty I can't sleep at night. But we ain't got to go there right now. We ain't got to go there. You know, it's all right. We ain't got to talk about my Z-Quill or nothing like that. We gonna get into these ACC opponents. Congratulations
on your new addition to your fraternity. I saw you had a new addition, a popular addition to KA Psi, brother.
Hey, man, like I said, Shaun, it's never too late. It's never too late, man. It's never too late. You know what I mean?
Never too late. Okay.
Come on, get with the winning team. You know what I mean? Come on, get with the winning. You know, you see Les Gross got down, grad chapter. Andy Richardson got down, grad chapter. Ain't nothing wrong with a little grad chapter, Shaun. I'm just saying.
You know what? That's making me feel better because the narrative when I was going undergrad was that it was all light-skinned pretty.
Listen.
See, that was the narrative. But now with Lance Groves, Anthony Richardson, I'm like, okay.
Might be something there.
See,
they showing the Chocolate Brothers some love.
And y'all might be confused because my ring lights are normally at the highest light, but I'm going through a little bit of an odd thing, so I turned them down a little bit. This is my normal complexion. This is what I look like on the day-to-day. You know what I mean? Don't let the complexion fool you, okay? KA Psi ain't administering no brown paper bag test. I'm just letting you know that. We ain't doing it. You know, we ain't doing it.
Let's start out. Give me your overall thoughts from what you saw from practices, spring games all over the ACC. What's your overall thoughts about the competitiveness in the ACC this year?
You know, the ACC is more wide open this year than it's been in quite some time because every single team has big questions to answer. Mm-hmm. You know, last year with Florida State, there weren't a ton of big questions to answer. It was little minute ones. It was, how is Keon Coleman going to fit? How are some of the transfers on the back end going to fit? But for the most part, all the questions were answered. You knew at quarterback, Jordan Travis was going to be one of the best in the nation. You knew at running back, a loaded running back room. And by loaded, I don't mean loaded with potential. I mean loaded with guys who had been 800, 600-yard rushers in previous years that you felt good about. Offensive line with a lot of experience, all that good stuff. But when you look at every team this year, there's questions. If you say Florida State, the question about DJU is how high is his ceiling? Because DJU, I believe, has the highest floor of all the quarterbacks that transferred in, but how high is his ceiling? Is his ceiling that of an ACC championship level quarterback? That remains to be seen. And then on top of that, you saw some of the turmoil and some of the players entering the transfer portal and coming back out at Florida State, which left a few questions in terms of that defense and what's the culture there? Are they really committed? And then you go down the line and you say, well, who doesn't have questions? Clemson. Why are y'all not using the portal? What's going on there? Cade Klubnik is not looking amazing, even through the spring game. How you look bad in the spring game is beyond me, brother. How you look bad in the spring game in a program you've been in for a few years, that's going to leave me scratching my head a little bit. But then you go beyond them and you say, okay, NC State. Well, I know this feels like Bizarro World, but linebacker is the question. It's like, who are your guys that can match up with tight ends and running backs at a high level? And right now you trust Tony Gibson because he's an amazing defensive coordinator and linebacker coach, and he's coached up, guys who are 2 stars and no stars to be NFL draft picks. But you still need somebody to step in and do the job. So, every single team has a lot of questions. A team that I like a lot, Virginia Tech, I love them. I love Kyron Drones. I think that he is a certified stud. I think he's a Maserati amongst some Volvos over there, but they don't have a single defensive tackle over 300 pounds. How can you stop the run with a bunch of guys that's 280, 275? That's good for speed packages, but what can you do against the run? And that's just some of the upper end teams, not even asking the questions on some of the lower end where it's like, who do you have outside of Castellanos for Boston College and things of that note? So it's a wide open conference. I'm sure that somebody's going to come out and surprise us, but I would say that this is an ACC that if you describe it as a down year, I would say do that at your own risk, because a lot of these teams that have these questions, they can answer them fairly quickly, and they're answering them with pieces that they've done it at a high level already.
So you think a lot of this is a turnout because of the COVID year? Guys are more leaving out now. This is a lot of guys that have just been at school but haven't had the chance, but are veteran in the sense of school, because this is like a total reset. Because if you think about the graduating class of the NFL right now, all those guys are 4-year, 5-year starters.
Yeah, it's partially that.
The most experienced class in the last 10 years.
Yeah,
in terms of guys, both of those guys. I mean, J.J. McCarthy's 30 games in. Caleb's had 2 30-game seasons. And there's a bunch of guys. Bo Nix has played 5 years. Michael Penix has played 5 years. Jaden Daniels, 5 years. So I think a lot of this is a bunch of unproven guys that have really, this is the backups, the revenge of the nerds, the revenge of the backups.
I'll say this. I think it's a mix of that, and also in the ACC, for whatever reason, there are very few teams that understand moderation. Everybody's going to one extreme or the other. So, for example, Florida State, they are going extremely hard in the portal. Every position, they just, we don't want to develop nobody out of high school. Get me a guy that's already developed, which, again, that creates those questions of culture and who's there, who's really there, who wants to be there, who's there for a bag, or who's there for a one-year deal. And then you've got teams like Clemson that are like, we're not using the portal at all, period. Like that's just not happening. Louisville is another one of those teams that use the portal to a very high degree. But now with them, you have multiple questions surrounding, and I don't think it's fair necessarily, but you got multiple questions surrounding their NIL and whether or not the coffers are empty, because some of the players that they just bought in January are already leaving the program. So, I mean, it is partially because you're seeing that weaning off of the system of the guys who are, they did the red shirt, gray shirt, COVID year, injury year, and then they played for you. Yeah, you're seeing those guys age out. But it's also a little bit of some of these coaches didn't quite do their succession planning properly. And that's one thing that I said about Norvell a lot, even last year. I said that the fact that we're seeing these backups look as bad as they are in terms of running the offense at Florida State, that's kind of on you, Norvell, because why did you not plan for Jordan Travis ain't going to be here for forever. There comes a day in college football where, hey, you're too old, leave, get out. Even with the COVID year, transfer year, red shirt, gray shirt, blue shirt, whatever shirt year, you're going to time out eventually. And it didn't seem like he planned very well for that succession. So it's partly that those COVID years wearing off, but it's also a little bit of that coaches have got to step up and be better. And in a situation like Boston College, their coach left them high and dry in the middle of the offseason. So, some of this is abnormal situations. Some of it is just like coaches are not doing a great job. Some of it is what you were alluding to with the 5th year and 6th year guys being gone.
You talked about not thinking that the ACC is going to have a down year. Is that narrative out there based upon the business of the ACC and everything that's been happening? on the fringes, or are you really looking at what Malik talked about, the loss of talent and everything, and just you pointing out what's taking place at Louisville with them going so heavily into the portal and then not being able to retain guys and not having the money to bring in other guys? You know, is it a mixture of things that people have that narrative about the ACC, or is it something as simple as, ACC is pretty and has been pretty steady?
Well, I'll say this. Absolutes are for two groups of people in this world, babies and fools. That's just the reality, right? It's more often than not going to be a nuanced situation. That's what it is here. It is absolutely a situation where the ACC, the business aspect of it absolutely is part of it. Let's just be honest, right? You can sit here and lie to yourself all day long and say, oh, yeah, these groups would be seen as the exact same as the Big Ten and SEC if they were in those business deals with them. Absolutely. They likely would be by some. But the reality, if ifs and buts were berries and nuts, squirrels never starve. We live in the real world, and we are where we are. So the business aspect is absolutely a part of it. But another part of it is there are not the big superstar names. And when you don't have those big superstar names, it makes it a little bit more difficult. Almost every other conference has multiple guys that even if they have not played well, you still know the name, right? Like if I were to say Jalen Milroe, everybody knows who he is. He may not have been a baller. He was benched last year, for Christ's sake, but you still know the name Jalen Milroe. If I was to say, oh, yeah, the reality is Michigan and Donnie Edwards, everybody knows who Donovan Edwards is. That boy been showing out for years. I would say he's been so good. He wasn't even in Blake Corum's shadow last year. So he's a big name that's out there. Yeah. You don't have those same types of names in the ACC right now. And I'd probably say the last thing about why the ACC doesn't get the national love, and I hate to say it because many people believe I get paid by Jim Phillips, which if I am, me and Jim need to have a conversation because my check misses some zeros. The reality is very simple. Jim Phillips needs to advocate for his conference the same way Sankey does for the SEC. The Big Ten, their conference is what it is, and they have the business side of it. They have the big name, so they don't have to advocate in that way. Sankey is everywhere telling everybody who will listen, the SEC means more, y'all. Hey, y'all, did y'all know it means more than the SEC? By the way, guess where it means more? The SEC. All right, glad we got that out the way. Jim Phillips is not that kind of guy, and he needs to be. He needs to be in this changing landscape of college football. If you're not willing to puff your chest up and say, look at us, we're doing great things over here, we're doing special things over here, they're going to fall behind in that battle of public perception. And obviously the lawsuits with Clemson and Florida State don't help either. Like your big dogs trying to get out does not help you either. So it's a combination of things more so than it just being one thing to where everybody's like, that's why you all suck, because Clemson sucks. So, that's why you all suck, because you all don't have good quarterback play. It's just not one thing.
Yo, and especially coming off a year where the ACC is 6-4 against the SEC.
You know it. And
Jim Phillips should be talking crazy.
And that's my thing. I'm sorry, but if I was Jim Phillips, I wouldn't shut up about it. I wouldn't stop talking about it. I would say, listen, the only time y'all boys got wins up off the ACC is when our teams showed up with a JV squad like Florida State did against Georgia. That's it. Every other time y'all came to see us, we took off belt and we put belt 2 behind. So I don't want to hear nothing about, it wasn't our best. It wasn't our this. It wasn't our that. Boston College is our best? No. But they were still good enough to beat the SEC team. Now, wasn't they? Oh, okay. All right. Just checking to make sure. Wake Forest beating Vanderbilt don't mean nothing. Well, they still won the game. Sorry to tell you. It was SEC versus ACC. ACC walked out with a W. So I don't know what to tell you, but that's just how it goes. Florida State and Florida, same thing. Miami and Florida, same thing. So, the reality is, to me, Jim Phillips just doesn't beat the table enough. Because if I was him, these people would get tired of me saying, well, how are we a worse conference than the conference we got a winning record against? Somebody tell me that right now. Somebody tell me that. But, that's not the type of guy Jim Phillips is, which, again, is going to be to his detriment in this current environment.
Can we move on and get strength, weakness of every opponent that Notre Dame has in the ACC from you, bro?
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Hey, let's do it. Notre Dame opponents, ACC.
Drop a note to Riley Leonard about some potential weaknesses.
I mean, Riley's seen them all. He done seen it all, done it all. So if you don't know the weaknesses by now, we need to have a different
problem. Let's start with September 28th, baby. We get into the ACC part of the schedule, and the Louisville Cardinals. Revenge game for Notre Dame. They come a calling down in South Bend on September 28th.
Mm-hmm.
Give us strengths and weaknesses of what you see from the Cardinals.
Yeah, so the strength of the Cardinals is definitely that defense, especially up front. Ashton Gelati is special. I don't care who you got on that offensive line or where they're supposed to be drafted. I would not advise leaving number 9 one-on-one all game, because what they do with him is they move him up and down the line. They're going to find the weakest link. He gonna knock on every door and see which one got the loose handle. He go, the key working right here. All right, this is where we gonna be, coach, all night long. So, identifying number 9 and finding a way to negate him is something that you need to do, which I think Notre Dame may be able to do if you can run the ball well enough to stay ahead of the sticks. You don't want to get into a lot of 3rd and longs against Louisville because, again, Ashton ain't the only special pass rusher they got. They have multiple guys who are very much so feared coming off the edge, even though their Tennessee transfer, who was a sack leader over there, is back in the portal, which is, again, one of those questions about Louisville. If he finds a way to still find his way back to Louisville, you're looking at a situation where you got 2 guys to watch out for. Now, that's the strength, okay? And that getting home to Riley Leonard, that could definitely mess with him, because we've seen if you put enough pressure on him, same thing that happened to any quarterback, get a little rattled there. The weakness of this team, however, is their quarterback. I don't believe in Tyler Shough at all. At all. Everybody likes to tell me, well, Ken, he just hasn't been healthy. And when healthy, he's da-da-da-da. Baby, when I was healthy, I was almost a freshman All-American. Unfortunately, y'all see that I'm here instead of in the NFL because when I was healthy was very rare. Same thing for Tyler Shough. He is rarely ever healthy. So if you can get to him, and on top of him rarely ever being healthy, that means that he's had limited game reps. I don't think that he's seen the defensive backfield as good as what he's going to see against Notre Dame in his career. And he hasn't looked good against some of the defensive backfields he played already. So I truly believe that their ability to throw the ball is going to be, even with an offensive mind, as good as Coach Brown. Because, those Brown boys, as soon as they get to Louisville, they're going to light up a scoreboard. And yet and still, I don't believe in Shough to do it.
Once again, talking to Ken Gibbs, Locked On College Football, Locked On ACC, Locked On Wolfpack. We're going over the ACC opponents for the Fighting Irish coming out of the spring, how they look, their strengths and their weaknesses. Just talked about Louisville, and we go to one of the newest members of the ACC that come in to Notre Dame on October 12th, the Stanford, another Cardinal, the Stanford Cardinal.
I hate to say this because people are going to look at me like I'm crazy, but what is the Stanford Cardinal strength? And I mean this very genuinely. There are times where they do not forget looking like a Power 4 football team. There are times that they don't look like an FBS football team at all. Like there are very seriously moments where you watch that operation and you're just like, what is happening? Why is there so much unseriousness here? And then you look at a pretty much mass exodus in the portal of pretty much any player they had that was worth a darn last year, and you're stuck asking yourself, what is Stanford good at? What are they good with? Like that's, you kind of leave that question, which then gives you the answer of what is their weakness. Pick your poison. I mean, with all due respect, they're not as big as Notre Dame is. They're not as physical up front. They definitely don't have the guys on the back end to deal with a retooled wide receiver room. I'm struggling, and I don't want to be this way because I promise on Locked On ACC, I try to give every team their shine and their love. Mm-hmm. I'm very seriously I look through their roster and I'm trying to find guys who could potentially make All ACC next year, and I'm struggling to come up with them. I'm struggling to come up with guys I think are going to be first or second team from Stanford. So with all due respect, I think that they're in the very early stages of a rebuild right now, and they need to strip that thing down to the studs and build back up because, again, at the moment, hey, they're a great academic school, great women's basketball school. That appears to be their strength, which does not help on the gridiron.
You know what? It's going to be interesting. I'm interested in seeing. They do have a pretty good play caller, offensive mind as a head coach. I will say that.
Absolutely.
I will say that. I like their young quarterbacks that they still have to develop. But coming to the ACC, I think it's going to be a challenge coming from what they were faced, because for a long time they were the physical bully or one of the physical bullies in the Pac-12.
Yes.
Right, which is
Yes.
really not defensive minded. They were physical along with Utah. That was their strength. Now they come to the ACC where it's like, you're not the only bully on the block when it comes to physical play. So style of play might be something they have to transition.
And that was something that worried me about this team, because when you left David Shaw, you went away from that hardball tree and you went away from those big tight ends and those 3 tight end sets and those, hey, we'll have a bunch of guys that are 6'5", 6'6", that can all block their tails off, that also happen to catch the ball on the field at once. And so, like you said, they have a good play caller, but at the end of the day, you and I both know it's not about your X's and your O's, it's your Larrys and your Joes. And right now, I just don't believe that they have the type of Larrys and Joes to compete with the likes of a Notre Dame and let alone most of the ACC. I just don't think that they have it at the moment. Uh-oh, you muted, Sean.
The next ACC opponent, sorry about that, is an opponent that most Notre Dame fans have felt like, yo, this could be a trap game, right? We play Louisville, then we play the lowly Stanford Cardinal, but then we take a trip down to Mercedes-Benz for a team that towards the end of last year looked pretty good, played Georgia pretty darn well at the end of the year. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Tough road test for the Fighting Irish, and most people see that as a possible trap game. What are the strengths and weaknesses of the Yellow Jackets?
Let me tell you something. You're going to Atlanta, that's Jeezy house, and you know, okay, he won Trapper of the Year 4 times in a row, and you know what they gave him for it. No, but very seriously, this is absolutely a game that folks should be on the watch for, because Georgia Tech is one of my teams that I am absolutely believing could be a surprise team for a lot of folks next year, because people aren't taking them seriously. But Haynes King is a quarterback that has shown the ability to be dynamic under pressure, the ability to make it happen out of the pocket. He keeps his eyes downfield. He has the ability to use his legs. Haynes King is the heart and soul of that team. He is where it starts and where it finishes for that team. So if you let Haynes King get started, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a really, really long day playing against Georgia Tech. Now, if you ask me where their weakness is, this is a very interesting thing, because when I look at their playmakers offensively, it gives me a little bit of pause. But then I say, you know what? I believe Haynes King is good enough to cover over a multitude of sins offensively. Where I don't think they have those type of playmakers is in their linebacking core and maybe in their nickels a little bit as well. I think that group, it scares me a little bit, because they're guys from last year who were those guys are going to the NFL, or the guys that they had last year are part of the reason that they had a fairly disappointing season after Key had one of the greatest turnaround stories mid-season in all of college football history in his year 1. I believe they went 4-4 with him as the head coach after having never won more than 4 games in an entire season in any of the past 3 seasons. So I'm a little bit worried about their ability to get stops up through there, because again, when you're playing Notre Dame, if you don't have anybody that can match up with those tight ends, that's Katie Dids at the doorstep. That's, hey, put your head between your legs and kiss your tail goodbye, because that's, you strike up the band, touchdown Jesus is going to be having a great day. But if they can figure that out, if they can figure out those positions that are going to be primarily responsible for checking the guys in the slot and those tight ends, then I think they'll be just fine. I really do. I think that their defensive line is one that is coming along, and that's one of the areas that Key has done a hell of a job of recruiting. Now it's just time for those players who are potential to turn into realized talent. The secondary back end in terms of corners and safeties, I think they're good enough. I think they're good enough to keep up, especially if Notre Dame is having a bad day that day. I think they're good enough to keep up in that realm. The linebackers and nickels are kind of what, that's the group that I'm going to be watching real close in this game. Get muted again, Sean.
I got a cold. I'm trying not to cough on air. Hold on. Florida State, first week in November. Most people see this as a possible CFB elimination game.
Yeah.
Norvell, can he recover? Can he double up on the success he had last year without the leadership and all the talent he's losing to the NFL? We'll see whether or not they can get to November and still have meaningful games. But Notre Dame fully expects to either be undefeated or maybe have one loss leading into November. Strengths and weaknesses of this Seminole.
Let me tell you something.
Squad.
This game right here, I hated playing in it as a defensive lineman, but this is going to be one that I enjoy watching. This is going to be a throwback. This is going to feel like that neck, the fullback with neck rolls and the linebackers with shoulder pads that's 3 feet wide. It's going to feel like one of those games because these two teams are more similar than we'd like to admit. The strength of this Florida State team is that backfield. That is where they're going to be trying to get it rolling. Tofili, Benson, and company, that's where they're going to go. Point blank, period. That is going to be their bread and butter. They have an offensive line that's very veteran. They've got a lot of guys who played a lot of snaps on that offensive line. A backfield that, half of the duo from last year, plus an interjection of home run hitters. You can't go wrong with that. I think that running game is going to be the strength. If Notre Dame can stop that, running game, you're going to have a pretty good day at the office. However, this is going to be one of the most physical teams that Notre Dame faces all year. Although people don't think of Norvell as a coach who is, that overpowering, we coming downhill, no frills type of coach, if he is a coach who would not try to fit a circle into a square hole, he knows that that's what's good for this team. He knows that this team does not need to adjust to his scheme. He needs to adjust to them and say, you know what? We may go more I formation. We may go more double tight. We may go more, inline blocking type of situations because, again, the liability and weakness of this team, or at least the biggest question at the moment, is their wide receivers. You lose 2 receivers that, let me give you some fun facts about these 2. The average height of the 2 receivers they just lost, 6'5.5", 2 receivers.
Mm-hmm.
The average weight of those 2 receivers is about 225. You do not replace a Johnny Wilson and a Keon Coleman overnight. You don't replace them 1 for 1. It needs to be done by committee. Everybody has to come along and be better unless somebody from that wide receiver room is going to shock the world and be a Biletnikoff type of guy. So this game is one that I'm expecting to be nasty, mucky, dirty. It's going to be about who wants that inch more because this is going to be very much so an old school throwback, physical, we coming right at you type of game.
And this is where depth matters so much.
Go ahead, Lefty.
Yeah.
It's just because you have to have the depth to survive something where teams are going to be stylistic towards you and attack the first 2 deep. We're fortunate enough to have enough depth to get into the late seasons and have experience.
Yeah, and at the core of this game, beyond the physicality, it's also going to be about who can keep their composure down the stretch. Because I don't think that this is going to be a blowout one way or the other. And you know how it gets. In a close game that feels like a CFB eliminator, it's all about don't make that big mistake. Play your game. Do what you're coached to do. Because the minute that you get out of wits, the minute that you make that big mistake, get yourself a 15-yard penalty when that drive was supposed to end, that's the moment that dagger drives through the heart. So you're absolutely right in terms of the depth being very important here, because when you talk about that physical game, you're not going to have defensive linemen playing 10 snaps straight of isolation football. It's impossible. Guys are going to be rotating in and out. And when those guys are rotating in and out, not just for Notre Dame's defensive line, but also for Florida State, can those guys keep their composure? Can those depth pieces show up and be effective?
I'm going to give you the 2 games as we get to the last opponent, which is the Virginia Cavaliers, KG.
Yeah.
The reason the Georgia Tech game and the Virginia games are the 2 ACC games I'm looking forward to the most is because I feel like those are the 2 best ACC quarterbacks that Notre Dame is going to face.
Oh, for sure.
The 2 youngsters. Sure. Oh, you talk about 2 young up-and-coming gunslingers that are not scared. Man, King and Calamity.
Let me
Ladies
tell you,
and gentlemen.
And this is why, and I hate to say this. I hate to say this because I hate saying this, especially about head coaches. You know what I'm going to just say? I hate to say this about a brother. But the reality is the strength of that team is Tony Calandria. He is the strength of that team. The weakness of that team is Tony Elliott. That's the truth. It's the truth. I hate to say it. I really hate to say it. But Tony Elliott's decision-making at every step, his ability to be a leader of men at every step leaves me desiring so much. It leaves me wondering so much, like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not saying that you win games solely through the media days and which coach would you be most likely to run through a wall for type of deal. But every time I see Tony Elliott, even when I watch their, UVA all access practice and all that, I just don't feel like he's a motivator or he's a great tactician. So then it becomes, well, are you recruiting great? No, you're not building a fence around Virginia to where the best players want to play for your program. So my question is, who are you as a head coach? What's your strength? But I'll tell you this, Tony Calandria is dynamic. He is electric. And when he's rolling at his highest clip, Tony Calandria is like and I hate to give him this comparison, especially given what this man has done in his retirement, but he got a lot of that Brett Favre in him, He's got that gunslinger. He's got that you say, no, what are you doing, Tony? No. And then you see where the ball goes. You're like, hey, yeah, hell yeah, Tony. That's how you pass it. That's what you do. He's going to put the ball in harm's way a little bit, but that's okay because that's part of who he is. He wouldn't be him without throwing those 50-50 balls and trusting his receivers to go get them. And Virginia, for whatever you want to say about their lack of depth or lack of talent or whatever the case may be, they do have some big bodies on the outside. And when Calandria gets to trusting his receivers throwing those 50-50 balls, it could be a 2-3 interception day. It could be a 5 touchdown day. You never know. You never know.
The Virginia game is one of those games where you can go up 17 and get comfortable, and then like that, you're back in the game.
Yeah.
Because the kid is just like fearless. He's just fearless. Like you said, he could throw 2-3 interceptions, and you're like, we got him today. And the next thing you know, he just goes on like a 10-minute hot streak. You're like, yo, what?
And I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know if you saw that UVA Tennessee game early in the season.
Yes.
Now, when I watched that game, I said to myself, they gotta have a better option at quarterback. Because Tony Muskett, with all due respect, I watched that offense and I said they're doing everything they can to get this game to Tennessee. I mean, somebody's got to do something special. And then watching Calandria play later in the season, I said, okay, if Calandria plays that Tennessee game, I'm not saying that they win it. It's a much closer game than it was. I know that for a fact because there were so many plays that were left on the field where it's like somebody has to come up with something special from that UVA offense, and nobody had that ability in him. But Tony Calandria has it in him. He's primetime TV. He's box office stuff. He gives you those moments of he will throw you out of the game sometimes because he's young and he's going to make that dumb decision, but he'll throw you right back in it because his confidence is unshakable. It's unwavering. He's going to keep letting that thing fly.
Like Lefty Podcast, our boy Ken Gibbs joining us right here. We're getting ready to transition to Three's Company. Let's put a nice little bow on this ACC opponent for 2024 spring report. They're not an opponent, but the buzz around the Syracuse program with Fran Brown coming from Georgia, the successful recruits, hey, he got a Notre Dame defensive back that jumped in the portal. Clarence Lewis goes up there and commits to the Orangemen. That buzz, does it match up with a possible surprise team, or are they still like a year away under Fran Brown?
I think they're a year away, but I'll say the same thing about him that I said about Prime in Colorado last year. I think the ceiling is about 6 to 7 games. I really and truly do. And the reality is we're looking at a situation with, they tear me up in the comments, boy. They tear me up over these shades. But the reality is that is a team that I think defensively, when you look at how much talent they brought in, they can do something special. Fran is known as a defensive coach. He is a defensive back coach by trade before he got here. They can be something special defensively. The problem is, outside of Arondé Gaston, who do they have offensively? Who do you look at on that roster that you say, not just, oh, he's all right, he's good. Who scares you? Who scares you on that offense? Does Kyle McCord scare you? I wouldn't say so. Everybody, when they talk about Marvin Harrison's tape this year, everybody says they struggle to not say his quarterback was a bum. Well, that guy is the starting quarterback at Syracuse now. Who's their other receivers? Who are their running backs? Who are the guys that they're going to trust to carry the mail that's not named Oronde Gaston? That's the biggest question they got over there. So can they, if your hype level for them is that Coach Fran is going to be 10 wins out the gate, hold your horses, put them back in the stable. Put them back in the stable. Just put them back. But if your belief is that they can go to a bowl game and potentially win, I think that's absolutely attainable for this team in year one.
I think that would be fantastic if he gets 6-7 wins and gets to a bowl. Absolutely fantastic. And then he can make improvements on what his predecessor wasn't able to do. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's the number of wins. I think if he can get 2 quality wins.
Oh, for sure.
2 quality wins, that's going to show drastic improvement in that program because Dino, man, had moments. I think the last straw for Dino was when he lost to Notre Dame and Drew Pine at home, when they had a chance to really go into the last month of the season with a chance at an ACC championship.
Yeah.
And then Notre Dame just came in there and just physically dominated.
Yeah.
Once again, with Drew Pine as quarterback, it's like
as much as I want to defend Dino, and as much as I want to say, hey, he deserved the job and he deserved another job and all that, I can't say that right now because objectively speaking, the recruiting was so bad. It was so atrocious. It just kind of left you wondering, like, objectively speaking, New York may not be known for football talent, but when you just break it down by the numbers, population, right? It's the same way with California. Even though California ain't known as a football state, the population is so big, you're going to have a good amount of ballers come out of there. Dino could not build a fence around those ballers. He couldn't even spot the guys who are like, you know what? He's really great. He's not going to want anything to do with us, but let's find the 2 and 3 stars that are going to go and ball out for us. He didn't do a great job of that either. So you're kind of left at that moment asking yourself, well, okay, what is this team going to look like? And there was always this constant pining about, we don't have depth. We don't have depth. We don't have depth. My brother in Christ, you're responsible for getting the depth. You're the head coach. That's your job. I don't know what to tell you. So, I hope that Coach Fran can absolutely build upon some of the things that Dino laid there, because I'm not going to pretend like it was all bad under Dino. And he absolutely he played Clemson tougher than almost any other ACC school, especially teams that are on the bottom end of the ACC when Clemson was at the height of their power. So he absolutely deserves some respect for that and for getting Syracuse to a bowl game on a regular basis. But now they've got to take that next step. They've got to hit that next level of being consistently an 8, 9, maybe more win team.
I mean, let's talk about, the bully on the block in the ACC for a long time. Let's talk about Dad Bowl. I mean, they started off the season. That's a tough task to start it off. Coming off that season last year, I know he was standing in the middle of the field in November after beating the Fighting Irish, talking about buy stock in Clemson. Yeah, my brother, but you got to go face Kirby in the crew. Carson Beck in the crew.
Yeah. And so the question that comes in for Dabo, how good is Cade Klubnik? Because everybody's telling me he's good. Everybody's telling me he's good. I feel like I'm watching a Dollar General version of J.J. McCarthy. Everybody's telling me he's got all the tools. Cade's got all the tools. Cade's got all the tools. I'm a Detroit Pistons fan, okay? I know what a Cade with all the tools looks like. I know what it looks like. That ain't it. That ain't it. With all due respect.
Can you send him to Chicago?
Cade Cunningham?
Can you send him to
Absolutely
Chicago?
not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I had to ask.
Lay off the weed. Lay off it, okay? But in all seriousness, Cade Klubnik, he makes decisions that are so bad. They're not like regular, oh no, a quarterback made a wrong read bad. He makes decisions that are so bad they prompt Dabo Swinney to call him out in front of the nation. After the Miami game, when they asked what was the read and why did Cade Klubnik pull it on that last play, he said there was no read. There was no read. That was a straight give play, which would have been a touchdown had he given the ball. Clemson goes on to win that game if he just gives the ball. He did not. And then you look at the Florida State game. Overtime, it's a 3rd and 1, I believe. And instead of just running the ball, he pulls it and throws a bubble screen. And Dabo said, we cannot put him in that situation where there is even a read there. That's a problem for me. That's a problem. If I have to put my quarterback in a situation where he doesn't think on a 3rd and 1, when they were averaging 6 yards per carry, when your two backs are Phil Maffa and Will Shipley, and you have to be told to not throw the bubble screen to a receiver that nobody damn knows, that's a problem. Your decision-making is not that I would say, I can trust you. But has he developed it is the real question. Because honestly and truly, I see the glimpses of he has all the tools. But what do all the tools mean if you're throwing it to the wrong team? What do all the tools mean if you're making the wrong read on read options? Hey, congratulations, you fast enough to outrun a guy. If he would have bit down, then you should have pulled it. But instead, you're trying to outrun a guy who's 3 yards outside you. Good luck with that, brother. Good luck with that. You might have got away with it in high school, but not around here, player. Not around here. So Dabo Swinney is stuck in a situation where the quarterback situation has to develop, and their offensive line depth is horrendous. They just had Big Zach Owens get in the portal as well, who, mind you, he didn't play a lot. He was a true freshman last year, but he was expected to be a key depth piece for that offensive line that, again, they don't have a ton of bodies. They just don't have a ton of live bodies that you trust to do good things right now. So, Clemson has some depth issues, but defensively, they should be just fine. Carter coming back meant a lot to him. And honestly, as much as we all love Jeremiah Trotter Jr. as a young man, he's a wonderful young man. And, he did many things right. It kind of seems like a little bit of addition by subtraction with him because he struggled mightily last season. He went from a guy who was a projected first rounder to go in the late round, maybe even undrafted, all in the span of one season. You don't do that by accident. That's not something that happens because you're playing well. So, they're looking to get that other linebacker spot sold up, and they have a defensive backfield that is special. That is one thing, Clemson, you cannot argue their defensive back results, because they're still pumping them out to this day. But again, all the other parts are the questions.
Yeah, their young safety, Khalil Barnes, chose Clemson over Notre Dame.
Yeah,
late in his recruitment. And I think, really, honestly, Notre Dame backed off of him a little bit. And then he comes up with some big plays as a true freshman starting the second half of the season. And then the starting safety who got injured leading into that game that caused the young man to play ends up transferring. That lets you know, oh, bro, you might not get your spot back.
He got Wally Pipp.
Yeah, you might not get your spot back. Look, any sleepers from the ACC going into the season before we switch to Three's Company?
Oh, yeah, we already talked about Georgia Tech as a team that's a sleeper. Virginia Tech as well is another team that, again, if Drones and company can get it right offensively, him and Byshaw Tootin, that's one of the most dangerous read options in all of America. I mean, Byshaw Tootin is a very special running back that I don't think gets the credit that he quite deserves. He transferred in from A&T last year and proved how special he was, being one of the leading rushers in the ACC last year. And other than Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech, I'd probably say be on the lookout for SMU. If they can make the adjustment, that jump from being a group of 5 to Power 4 team like that, Rhett Lashley is a coach I believe in a lot. I think he's one of the best offensive minds in the game today, and he's got some horses in that stable. You know what I mean? And no pun intended, but the Pony Express is very much so close to being back. And by back, I mean where they were with Eric Dickerson and Craig James and company when they were buying every player that would look their way. So I think that they're one to three recruiting classes, and I mean great recruiting classes, not good. If they're 1 to 3 great recruiting classes away from being the big dogs on the block again. But again, it's tough to be that when you're the 4th biggest brand in Texas at the moment. So, that's something that those are the teams that I'd be looking out for at the moment.
And Left, you don't even respect Texas high school football anyway. So,
oh my God.
Oh, you got to hear this. So what do you say about Texas high schoolers, Left?
All I say is that they're good for their area. They're good regional, local teams outside of the state. They tend to be real. They're not like Florida. You know how Florida, You got somebody from Florida on every roster in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And they usually are one of the top tier type of teams. Texas guys, they just don't always pan out how you want them to. That's for sure.
Yeesh. That's tough. I'm gonna tell you this. Okay, I don't know about you, but I'm gonna follow the slogan. Don't mess with Texas. If they don't know nothing else, they know a little high school football now. You know, I grew up. One of my favorite
locally, regionally, guys from Texas that stay in Texas usually have great careers. Mm-hmm. Outside of the state, the world may just be a little too big.
Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. Hey, listen, he said it, not me. He said it, not me. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say this. Me personally, I'm a Cass Tech guy. You know, they just put out the list of the most draft picks in the last 10 years.
I knew he was about to sneak this in.
You know what I'm saying?
Can you at least let me lead into it to show you some love?
My bad. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? It was one Texas team was on there though. Kyler Murray High School, I believe it's McAllen was on there. You know what? I'm just saying. I give Texas their love with this dude, and Texas did have a squad on that list, so I got to give them their love. They putting boys in the league, and I ain't never against you getting boys paid. I ain't never against you getting some players they Skrilla and they greenbacks.
Shout out to Cass Tech. I thought that was a big time promotion for that program, the success they've had, and what they produce as far as D1 talent, Power 5 talent, and NFL talent. Sir. The D. Hey, we're going to talk about the D for once in a lifetime being in the spotlight tomorrow night. It doesn't happen a lot, but we'll talk about it coming up next, right? Look, Three's Company right around the corner.
What's up, family? The merch shop is finally here. Lucky Lefty Network merch shop. We got it all. From the shirts to the hoodies to the hats to the nitty gritties. Come here right now. Shop with us. Come get the swag because you know, if anything else, we spin it different. You see the gritty. You see how we get down. It's elite.
Like that. You wanna grind and you know it's really like that. Dudes who snitch, nah, I don't really like that. I don't condone the chrome and the wall. Slow down the beat, it's all
time for Three's Company. Ken GIBBS, MALIK, ZAIRE, SHAUN Davis. You already know it's about to be hot and heavy. Patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network. CFE Nation, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Lucky Lefty. Subscribe. Hit that thumbs button. The one that goes up. We appreciate you. Let's get it, man. The D is the epicenter of sports come tomorrow night. It doesn't happen a lot, Left. Doesn't happen a lot, but it's their night to shine. It's their night to shine. And of course, wait a minute, even though we're in the D for the NFL draft, the draft is all about who has the number one pick. And who has the number one pick, baby?
Here we go.
It's not the Detroit draft. It's not the Cowboy draft. It's not the Jets draft. It's not the Giants draft. It's the Chicago Bears draft. I don't care where it's at, Left. I don't care if it's in LA, New York, Texas, Houston, Dallas, Florida, Tallahassee, Miami, Orlando, Disney World. It doesn't matter where it is. The NFL draft is all about the Chicago Bears tomorrow night. Like it or love it, doesn't make a difference. We thank Detroit for hosting our draft. Thank you, Detroit. Thank you. We know you're going to put on a grand show.
This is just an opportunity for the Bears to let go of another generational talent like Patrick Mahomes, and somewhere along the line of the season, he comes back and he starts doing this.
Left.
4 or 5 pick. Y'all didn't pick about all them people. And
don't bring up the pain. Left, don't bring up the pain. Left, don't bring up the pain.
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. It's not about who gets the number one pick. It's about who gets the most picks right. That's what it's about. And I've seen the Bears trick off some picks in the past. I'm just saying. I've seen them. I'm a Lions fan, so I know what tricking off a pick look like. I know. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen it firsthand, baby. I watched us draft Charles Rogers. I watched it. I seen it with my own 2 eyes. Even as a little kid, I said, "Wait, why we draft him? Hold on. I know he went to Michigan State and all, but we sure that's who we want? Okay, I'm just saying." So I'm just saying, you better not mess this up, Bears. You better not mess it up.
Oh, I think we all know who it is.
Oh, absolutely.
It
better be. It better be.
Know it. The bigger question is number 9. That's the bigger question. Now, based upon what I'm hearing, if Rome is there, he's the dude. If Rome is there at 9, he's the dude. They hope and pray that Marvin Harrison Jr. somehow falls to 9. He's not. He's not. I don't even know why they have him on the board at 9. Marv is not falling at 9. But it's Rome, Joe Alt, and then one of the defensive players. Byron Murphy has a lot of love in the Bears war room.
Boo. Actually, I'll tell you what. Draft Roma Dunson. Draft him. He's the best guy available for you. He's the one you need, not Joe Alt. You don't need to protect that quarterback. Get him more people to throw the ball to. You saw how it worked out for Joe Burrow. You saw how it went when they got him T. Higgins, and they got him Jamar Chase, and they got him Joe Mixon, and they got him all his weapons. But they ain't getting nobody to block him. And lo and behold, look what happened to old Joe Brr. And they call him Joe now, as in Joe IR. He always on the IR. That's Joe now. So, if I was the Bears, again, don't trick this off. Don't, I'm just
you preaching to the choir. I'm all Joe Alt.
I'm surprised that we on Three's company.
You said Caleb's first, Joe Alt's first. Which one's first, Sean?
No, you take Caleb and Joe Alt. And then matter of fact, let AI choose the rest of the picks. Because you only got 4. You only got 4 in the entire draft. As long as you get the first 2 right, the other 2 don't even matter.
Yeah, those are 2 generational picks. Those are 2 opportunities to, land guys that are not good. They're great.
So that's already locked. Joe Alt, Caleb's a lock. Throw it in the bag.
Listen. I would say this. If the Bears were smart, they'd be a lock. But trusting the Bears to be smart is it's a reason Mystical said if you ever see him fighting in the forest with a grizzly bear, help the bear. There's a reason he said it. Because he knew Ryan Posen was pulling strings.
Hey, you can say what you want to say, but the Bears, in my opinion, they got something right today, God darn it. They got something right. As they came before the city of Chicago, and they released the renderings of the brand new Chicago Bears Stadium. Let me tell you something, Left. Boy, let me tell you something, boy. Hey, you can pull up in your boat, Left. You can pull up in your boat. I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Looks pretty snazzy to go lose the division every year.
You know what?
Oof.
Look at that view. Look at that. That's beautiful.
Hey, no, but I will say,
talking about hosting Big Ten tournaments, Final Fours. Pull up in your boat when it's warm. That's probably like the first 2 months of the season only.
Yeah,
but still,
that's
in
big
all,
time,
man.
That's
Big time. It's big time. It's big time. Left, I'm gonna let you slide with that as a Bengals fan. Dude, as a Bengals fan, I'm gonna let you slide with that. I'm gonna let you slide with that one as a Bengals fan.
That's the best division in football.
Hey, listen,
what's the best division in football?
The Browns, the Steelers, the Ravens, the Bengals.
Dog, the Browns and Bengals have sucked for like the last 2 decades. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but we can't give that much love.
So you gonna say that based upon what Pittsburgh and Baltimore have done?
I was about to say the Ravens and the Steelers been on the
Super Bowl.
In the
last 5-6 years.
Hey, listen.
So
all I'm saying is this, okay? All I know is it must be a hard life being a Bengals fan, because even when you get them right, even when you think you got the picks right, all of a sudden they end up broke up, shook down, and left out on the sideline on IR year after year after year. That got to hurt a little bit. I know it hurt watching Jake Brown to go out there. Look, I think you better than Jake Brown. I want to see you a quarterback.
Jake Brown's a good backup. He's a good backup.
I want to see you out there. I'm just saying. Listen, a good backup still ain't a starter. I'm sorry to tell you. A good backup means, hey, it's garbage time. We up 40 points. Go on in there. We don't want to risk our good investment. You know what I mean? That don't mean you're supposed to be starting 8-9 games a year. You know what I mean? That just ain't what that's supposed to be. So, but I digress. You know, hey, if you believe the AFC North is the toughest division in football, we're all entitled to our wrong opinions. You know, and I'll let you have that.
You really think the AFC North is better than the NFC East historically?
I mean,
think about it. Measure twice, cut once. Measure twice, cut once.
I'm telling you, the Bengals, the Ravens.
Why do you keep mentioning the Bengals, bruh?
That's the best division, though.
Now, I'm gonna tell you something. Now, see, if we talking recent history, y'all absolutely got an argument over the NFC East, absolutely. But if you're going back through the annals of history, it's not close.
Thank you.
It's not
even close. The NFC East has
every team in the NFC East has
Super Bowls.
Yeah, every team in the
21 Super Bowls in the NFC East.
How far are you going back?
We said history. How far?
I mean,
you want to go back?
You can really go back.
We tracking the last 10 years, 5 years. How far?
If you want to go back to win the Super Bowl, if you want to go back to when the first Super Bowl was forward, if you want to go to Super Bowl 5 forward, if you want to go to Super Bowl 10 forward,
history. Let's go last 10 years.
Okay, you set the standard. You said.
Okay, 10 years. 10 years. I give you that. AFC has, because the NFC East has seen some real nasty work years. They've seen some terrible years. Well,
come on.
You know, they called them the NFC least for a bit. I give you that. Last 10, I could give you that. But again, even in that last 10, the NFC East has still, you know, they
had one team maybe.
The Eagles made a Super Bowl in the last 10, and let me see, it's 2024. When did the Giants? No, the Giants didn't make one in the last.
The same last 10 years Eagles made.
You're right. I get that. I'm just saying it's a closer competition than you give it credit for, even if you take just the last 10.
Well, it's way above.
Bro, you realize the AFC North has 0 Super Bowl championships in the last 10 years.
Ooh.
Okay, but the Bengals have been there. They're the most.
They have 0.
This is the Patrick Mahomes era.
Oh, now we want to blame Pat. Is
Pat
in the AFC North?
Well, I believe. Now, hold on. What year did Nick Foles get his with the Eagles? What year was that?
Nick Foles got his in, was it 18?
Oh, in the last 10 years, the NFC still got more chips than y'all. Oh, yes. That's tough. That's tough.
That division during that time was trash. The Giants been trash for the last 30 years, 20 years.
Hey, listen. I'm not going to show too much love to the NFC East team, but I will say this.
NFC West has 2 wins and 2 losses in the Super Bowl. The 2 losses are the 49ers. The 2 wins belong to the Rams and the Seahawks.
I'm gonna say this: the Giants got 2. The Giants got 2 of them up off of Tom Brady. They got 2 of them up off Brady. So while they have not been the best team as of late, you got to give them their respect. You know, I remember they asked some old guy at the game. They said, "What would you give up to see your team win the Super Bowl?" And he said, "My firstborn child." And everybody was like, "Wait a minute, you a Giants fan that's 50? You've seen all of their Super Bowl. You've seen all 4 of them. You just don't like your firstborn child, you know." Me as a Lions fan, it's a little different. I'm bald now, and I still ain't seen them win one yet. So, you know, if I was to say that, it's a little different. But I'm just saying,
y'all have division banners in your stadium.
The Bengals don't. The Bengals don't. What do the Bengals got to hang up? Hold on.
The AFC Championship.
So
participation trophies.
So wait a minute.
Trophies.
If we talk about the banners,
AFC Championship banners.
That's participation. Thank you for coming to the Super Bowl.
So I want to know this. If we on the Lions talk about we hang up divisional banners, y'all better ain't nothing but a lonely light bulb and the stick of butter in that fridge. It's nothing. That's it. That's all y'all got. What you mean? Y'all ain't got. Where's the ring, brother? Where's the? If this was the Lord of the Rings,
closer to us than y'all. We
It
closer to
closed.
finding on MapQuest than you guys are.
Last time I checked, if we GPS it, we the same distance away from the ring, bro.
You know what the AFC North is in the NFL? They're the equivalent to the Big Ten in men's basketball.
Oh,
every year, KG, every year they claim they're the best conference. We're the best conference in basketball. But how many championships have you won? It's going over 20 years now. How many championships you got in the Big Ten?
Oh, we got the player.
We're the most physical conference. We play hard nose. Every time it's a tough road game. Sounds just like the AFC North.
Nobody plays more fundamental than Wisconsin.
You can't have football if it's not for the AFC North. We are football. We the reason the ratings come because whenever we play each other, that's when the physicality comes out and people love the sport.
How many championships do you have in the last decade? You set the parameters.
We bring the
NFC West has 2.
AFC does.
AFC East has 3 or 2. I mean,
all I'm saying is all the teams in the AFC North, their phone been on silent for quite some time because they ain't got no rings.
Yes,
they ain't got not a single ring. They talking about it vibrate when you call me. Don't worry about it. It showed a little flashing light too. It just can't ring. That's all.
Y'all have let Aaron Rodgers build a Hall of Fame career off of both of your teams. So how do you explain that?
Aaron Rodgers is one of the best players.
Big Ben didn't build a career off of y'all scrubs.
No.
Are you kidding me?
And Aaron Rodgers is one of the best throwers of the football of all time. He's one of the best throwers of football. He may be off a little peyote.
You two teams every year. Those are four easy wins every year.
You make me feel better about my
Hold on, wait a minute. Who did Aaron Rodgers beat in the Super Bowl? The Steelers. If y'all get your man, stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. Stop. Oh, so the 4 easy wins was against us.
The family Guy did beat Omar Epps in the Super Bowl.
Ben Roethlisberger has more Super Bowls, so he's not worried about it. He's not worried about lonely Aaron Rodgers. And the fact that Aaron Rodgers has went on TV and said he owns the Bears, part ownership. I don't know how you let that slide, Chicago. He said he had part ownership of your team in Chicago.
Let me give you one more. Okay? Because there was a rapper named Tyga, and he had a song called Make It Nasty way back when. I'm going to make this real nasty for you, okay? Do you know what the Packers' game plan was in that Super Bowl against the Steelers? I remember it vividly because it hurt my feelings to hear. He was one of my best players. They said, we're going to attack Troy Polamalu. He's too old. We're going to make him cover, and he can't cover grass. All that head and shoulders to cover all the dandruff, but he couldn't cover not a damn soul in the Super Bowl. Lord have mercy. And you want to sit up here and talk to us about who Aaron Rodgers built his career off of. If it was not for the AFC North, I'm pretty sure Aaron Rodgers would be what? Ringless? Wouldn't he be ringless too? Would he? I think he got one. I think that's his only one. Oh, okay. Just making sure. So all I'm saying is, you can talk about the NFC and what we ain't do right, but he got a ring up off y'all boys, the toughest division, the division where all of them
get to the playoffs to the first round bye every year.
If you extend it to 20 years,
KG, every year.
KG, let me help the AFC North out.
Okay,
let's extend it to the last 20 years.
Help them out, Reverend.
Because they have 4 Super Bowl wins in the last 20 years.
Oh, there you go. They got 4 of them.
But they're still behind the NFC North.
Lord have mercy.
I tried to help them.
Oh my goodness!
Guess who the 4 Super Bowls come from? What 2 teams in the AFC North? KG.
Oh, the Ravens and the Steelers, of course.
Oh, okay.
The Bengals and the Browns ain't won. In the month of Sundays.
Okay.
If the Browns mess around and win the Super Bowl, hell might actually freeze over.
That's all I'm saying.
The devil might come up to earth with a chinchilla on.
Don't tell me how tough it is. Y'all haven't won anything in a decade.
Oh, he talking about when Jim Brown played football. He said that the Browns got the most. He talking about automatic auto. He talking about when
you sound like the AFC East bragging because the Patriots won all the Super Bowl. That's how you sound.
That's the it goes them and then you guys. So it's the first easiest is the Patriots division, and then you guys are right next to them. But we're on the harder scale.
I have no problem getting dominated by a Hall of Famer. The Browns,
y'all made him a Hall of Famer. I guarantee you, he thinks Chicago, Detroit as making him right. And Brett Favre. Let's not forget him.
You're absolutely right. and Joe Flacco became Joe Flacco off of y'all.
Lord have mercy. And you know
At
what?
least, at least Aaron Rodgers did what he did to us. It was Aaron Rodgers. Joe Flacco owned y'all.
Joe Flacco came off from sitting off the couch too for the Browns and messed around and won what? Comeback player of the year, I believe.
Yeah, Joe Flacco, hey, he's sneaky good. Sneaky
the
good.
boy sneaky trash. That's what he is. He's sneaky trash. The man threw more picks than the Black Panthers in the 70s. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
You know, we're doing falling prey to Malik trying to, you know, promote the Bengals somehow each and every year. Left, who do you want your boys to take? And then KG, who do you see your Detroit Lions? Who do you want them to take in the first round?
We're probably gonna get a defensive end because Hollandaise or whatever.
Why? Because your guy wants out of your second best defensive end wants out of the Bengals. He wants out of Cincinnati. Talk about it. Talk
They're
about
not paying nobody. They don't. You know. They spend all their money on Joe.
Wait a minute. The Brown family doesn't want to pay anybody.
That's what they known for. That's what they known for.
Exactly. But they got to pay Joe. They got to pay Joe.
Yeah, they paying Joe. But everybody else got to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Joe.
Jamar and Joe. That's everybody. That's all we need. Jamar and Joe.
Yeah, get the paper bags ready. What do you guys? What do they call you? You residents of Cincinnati? Not Cincinnatians. What do you call?
What they call?
Ohioans?
Oh no, the residents of Cincinnati.
Cincinnatiites.
Whatever.
I thought they called them next yearites because next year is always their year. I thought they were next yearites. My bad. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was Cincinnatians. I'm sorry. No, much love to the next year. I mean Cincinnatians. We love you on Three's Company. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. My Lions, you got two options in that first round. Okay, and if neither, well, I'll give you three. Actually, because one of them might not be off the board. One of them definitely probably not going to be there. He's a wish list guy. One of them, I know he's going to be there. You need to take him. My first guy is Laiatu Latu out of UCLA.
Love
that man. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to say this with my whole heart, and I need y'all to understand this. No diddy. Watching his tape is sexy. It's all that hand fighting that he do, the way he bend that head. Oh, it get me going. Again, no diddy. It get me going.
I was
watching. I got Aiden Hutchinson. Y'all good. Y'all don't need nobody. I got Aiden Hutchinson, James Houston.
Double it. You know, I had to double it. Okay. I need me another one. What Nelly said?
Aiden Hutchinson first round.
Give me 2 per. I need 2 per. Okay? That's how you get it done in today's game. You need pass rushes everywhere. You can't just win it with one. But Laiatu Latu, he is his bend, his explosiveness, the way he uses his hand. He looked like a ninja out there, man. Every time somebody's throwing his dip rip, club rip, double swipe, the dip, there's not a move that I have not seen him execute at a high level. That's a brother that plans his work and works his plan. And I'll tell you, if you want to see some game film of domination, watch what he did to USC. He had Caleb Williams back there more uncomfortable than a man coming out with nail polish remover. Caleb was looking crazy. He was looking concerned, okay? So that's my first guy. My second guy, give me Wiggins from Clemson. Okay. We need a corner. Last year, if it wasn't for a corner letting the ball bounce off his helmet while he was looking at it.
You like him over the kid from Toledo?
Yeah, I don't like him. I don't like the kid from Toledo at all. I think he's wildly overrated. I need to see him play press man, and I haven't seen it. I think he plays off all the time, which is like, okay, whatever. But like at some point in time, you're going to have to bump and run with some guys, and I don't think he can do it. I just don't. So give me Shaq Wiggins if he's still on the board. And if he's not, some people are going to say this is a reach. I don't care. I have watched this man, and I quietly think that he was the most impactful in a defensive line room that features a top 15 draft pick. Give me Braden Fisk out of Florida State. That man decimated offenses this last season. And by decimated, I mean teams struggled to do anything with Braden. Go back and watch the ACC championship if you want to see Braden at his best, because he was going up against the center that was allegedly a third rounder, and he made that center now be an undrafted free agent type of guy because of how bad he dominated him. Give me Braden Fisk at the back end of that first round if I can't get nobody else. That's the guy I want. Those are the three that I'm looking at for the Lions in the first round.
Yeah, for me, it's simple. Caleb, Joe Alt, y'all can drive back to Chicago.
Yeah.
Bears fans can drive back. No, dude. Matter of fact, trade the rest of the draft. It's only 2. You got 10 draft picks the next year. Yep. Just come home with Caleb and Joe Alt. Man, Chicago fans would be just fine.
I'll tell you, you put your position, you put your franchise in a great position with those 2 for the next 10 years.
Man, easily. And they still might not be a top 2 team in the division. AFC North, though, huh? You got 2 teams historically that stink, but they're the best division over the man, please.
PU. Oh my God, we got championships from the 30s. Nobody want to hear about that, man. Nobody want to hear about that. All right. If it was before integration happened, we ain't trying to hear about
That's
it.
The same people that are defending them in the chat would argue you down that the SEC is only Georgia and Alabama. That'd be the first one to say, oh, the SEC is just Georgia and Alabama. What do you think all the championships in the AFC North come from?
Yeah.
The same top 2 teams.
And one of them just had to be in the 90s. What are we doing here?
Absolutely. They haven't won a championship in a decade. But we want to sit here and talk about participation trophies. It's a tough division. So they battle each other each and every week. Win a title. Win a title.
I ain't never stayed up to watch the Browns versus the Bengals in my life. I ain't never stayed up.
I've watched the Rams, Seahawks, and 49ers go at it for a decade. The last decade. I saw the Rams win one. Saw the Seahawks win one in the last decade. So what are we talking about? 3 really good organizations in one division in the last decade and 2 championships. AFC North, what do you have to show for the last decade as far as Super Bowl titles?
And I'll tell you, if the Cardinals wouldn't have picked up Cliff Kingsbury, who couldn't win with Pat Mahomes in the defense's optional Big 12, they probably would have did something special with Kyler. But lo and behold, they picked up a loser, and surprise, he lost. Who could have guessed? Who could have guessed that a loser in college would lose in the NFL? You know,
9 figures is all it takes to build new facilities in South Bend. That's all it takes, 9 figures. Now, I don't know. Y'all pulling that down there in NC State country, bro?
Let me tell you something, man.
You pulling 9 figures to build football facilities?
If a stadium costs 9 figures to build in North Carolina, that's Katie Diaz at the doorstep. That thing ain't getting built. Hey, dead on arrival. Good to hear about it. It sounds fun in theory. All right, y'all take it easy now. You know, the Panthers couldn't even build their stadium couldn't even build a practice facility in Rock Hill, South Carolina. So, and that's the professional team, let alone college. We ain't swinging no 100 million. We ain't doing that.
Let me ask you a question. In today's college football, how important are facilities in recruiting? Because left doesn't think that it's really that important. How important are facilities when it comes to these recruits nowadays?
I would say mildly important, because there are some players that do care about the facilities a lot and care about the little things a lot. But the vast majority of players, like when you get to a certain level, what's the difference between Alabama's facilities, Georgia facilities, Notre Dame facilities? You get what I'm saying? Like, what's the difference? Like you're looking at, oh, well, this school has a lazy river. My brother in Christ, you are a football player. What the hell does a lazy river have to do with your ability to do what you're going to be doing on that field? Oh, well, this school has a barber shop in the game room. Every school has that. Every school has those things. Maybe not like a full setup that's fully decked out and all that, but to me, it feels like an arms race where like you just got to spend money to spend it, because again, there are some players that it will matter to, but in my opinion, the overall majority that I've met, like at a certain point, a weight room is a weight room is a weight room. A speed lab is a speed lab is a speed lab. You know, like if you have the little short field for change of direction, all that, like, okay, cool. But like nobody is saying like, oh, I can't go to this school because, you know, their weight room is just, it just looks like a normal weight room when you're talking about the Power 4 level and up.
You know what? When you really think about it, I think what Notre Dame has done was to jump in the arms race. if you've been to the, I know if you've been to the Notre Dame campus, it was doing an upgrade, the facilities.
Right.
They definitely were doing an upgrade. And what they're adding is definitely going to make it more appealing, because South Bend is a place now that either you love it or you don't.
Right.
Either you love it or you don't. And maybe the facilities can cause guys from Texas, California, Florida to have a better feel of being able to deal with Notre Dame, the winters, and everything you have to endure until you finally say, you know what? I actually kind of like it here. You know, Left is an Ohio kid, but Left, as a person that sat in the locker room with guys from all types of different geographical areas around the United States, you know firsthand the challenges of getting those guys acclimated to South Bend and keeping them there.
Well, with 150,000 square feet new addition to the indoor complex, it makes it a little more homey. And that's kind of what you need to keep up with the recruiting battle that you have each and every year, and to be able to have guys feel comfortable in the facility, get your hair cut, get some food, nutrition, and probably recovery part of it. It kind of takes away from I'm in South Bend. Campus is always upgrading itself, so they do a good job of keeping it very fresh and very feeling like you're in Indiana. It's almost like a bubble, and the bubble's just getting bigger.
How big is this for Notre Dame, do you think? Do you think it gives them an edge and moves them further ahead of the ACC competition that they have on their schedule every year? And how much of a gap closer is it to the Georgias, the Alabamas, and the Ohio States?
I think it's much more of a vanity thing, you know, just dressing up the campus, making it look more prestige. I don't think it correlates necessarily to the guys getting this any better than what they are anyway. You know, you still need player development. You still need a good schedule.
Yeah.
I think the program is at the top 5, and the way it's ran that competes with Alabama or Georgia or Ohio State in terms of top-down togetherness. I think they're on point where we lacked in that the year before. And so program-wise, I think it's up there with the Georgias and the Alabamas, Ohio States. Now, the winning just has to match. You know, the winning is set up for us to do pretty well this year. But I do also think that it just comes down to recruiting. And does it help recruiting? Maybe. I think Notre Dame being the particular place that it is, it kind of serves itself for what people get out of it.
How do you see it, KG?
I'm going to tell you like this. You know, I really like what Left said there in terms of the winning got a match, because all this, and it's not just a shot at Notre Dame. This is talking about all the schools. If you're paying for hundreds of millions of dollars in facilities and the winning don't match, it's like getting a BBL where the thighs don't match. You look crazy. You just look crazy. If you have the best facilities money can buy, and your campus stretches miles on end because of all the football things, and you even gave somebody to baseball. They got a pitching lab, and they got, indoor, outdoor barricade, all that. They got everything. You even got hockey up there. You got whatever you can want. But you're not winning, you look crazy. You look crazy. So I'm never going to tell anybody the next man how to spend their money. I'm never going to tell another university how to spend them. If they feel like this is what was needed, this upgrade is needed, absolutely go for it. But like Left said, the winning better match. Because, Sean, you alluded to it in saying, does this close the gap on a Georgia, on an Alabama, on, those types of schools? If you're closing that gap, that has to show up on the field. Because if not, you just spent money to spend money. That money was just burning a hole in your pocket. You didn't get better.
Yeah, you're right about that. I don't know, man. When I heard 9 figures, I was like, oh.
Yeah, 9 figures is up there, boy.
And I'm sure it's not as expensive to build in South Bend, Indiana, as it might be in Chicago. So yeah. 9 figures goes a long way in South Bend, Indiana. But it looked from the renderings like it's going to be a very impressive. Left has already said, yeah, I got to see this. Like, I'm going to have to witness
Well, it's really for the school. It's not so much for the kids, because you got to think Most of these kids that come in don't even eat nothing but chicken fingers and fries. How they know how to take advantage of a 150,000 square brand new facility? You know, it doesn't. It's not really for the kids. It's a resource for them. But this is a vanity thing, another part of the museum that they're adding to Notre Dame for old guys like us to go and be like, hey, ooh and ah and ooh and ah, wow, let me try this and that, you know. But football is still football at the end of the day, and they have ample amount of resources at Notre Dame to get the things they need to get done. I mean, the way they travel is A1 as well. So it's one of those things where the rich kid that has everything, can he still be, at the top of the food chain? And that's something that we have to still be able to do. You know, that's just winning in style is how we look at it.
All right, Three's Company, right? Were you about to say something, KG?
No, I wasn't much in it.
Oh, my fault. So let's go to it. Next up, we want to talk about Caitlin Clark and what she's doing to elevate women's basketball. She needs help. I don't think she can do it alone. And we watched two people elevate the NBA to new heights, taking them off of tape delay to prime time in the form of Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. Who can be Caitlin Clark's Magic Johnson on this ride? Will it be some of the talented players coming behind her? Is it a player that currently exists? Because the same thing that happened with Caitlin Clark happened here in Chicago, not from a standpoint of money and a shoe deal, but the same type of buzz. What she created in Indianapolis for the Fever, man, Bayou Barbie created the same buzz, and her jersey sold out almost just as fast as Caitlin Clark's did in a bigger market. So it's almost like if Bayou Barbie is great in Chicago and Caitlin Clark is great in Indianapolis, does the big market kind of make up for it? And can that be the Magic Johnson, Larry Bird rivalry that continues on from college into the WNBA that turns things around? I'm just interested in seeing how you guys see this. Could it be a Hannah Juju coming a couple of years later that ends up helping the process? What do you guys think?
You took the word right out of my mouth, man. I think that her Magic Johnson is coming along a little later, and that's Juju. I think Juju is the antithesis of her in many ways. Juju is taller, bigger, stronger already, but Caitlin is seen as the player that she just knows how to just orchestrate the game so well. Oh, she may not be as athletic. She may have a little wispy frame, but she just knows how to come down off those screens so well. Oh, she's a wizard with the ball, but Juju, brute force and strength. That's what people look at her as when juxtaposed against Caitlin Clark, which I don't think is necessarily fair because I think Juju is extremely skilled in her own right. I think that she is a force offensively in her own right. And when she learns how to pass the ball and be a playmaker as well at a high level, I think that there's nothing that's going to stop her from being, Magic Johnson plus in the WNBA. But I think that Juju is the one that's probably going to be her foil for the next, when they hit their primes and all that, and they time it together and all that, because, I'm hearing people say, oh, man, it's going to be great to see Caitlin play against Diana Taurasi and all that. I'm sorry to tell you this, Diana is 40. She ain't going to be playing against her too much longer. At a certain point in time, the body just can't do what it used to do. You're not going to be able to keep up with them 25-year-old legs when you're 43. Okay, so I think Juju is the one that's going to come along and be the fire and ice of that duo.
And I think WNBA players need to come to understand, this is something I point out, trying to encourage people that feel like equity and inclusion, diversity, equity, and inclusion needs to exist when it comes to the WNBA right now, when it comes to contracts and the way they get the breakdown of the CBA. Ladies and gentlemen, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird probably felt the same way.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan probably feels the same way watching some of these bums get max contracts. Michael Jordan watched Zach LaVine get over $100 million and probably laughed. Probably. Because he didn't deserve a max contract. But he got one off of the backs of Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Michael Jordan, expanding the game when they didn't get their market back. It happens.
Yeah.
The young ladies today, they're not going to get their market value, but unfortunately, they're going to have to be the forerunners for someone else coming down the line. And one day, we will see a WNBA as it continues to grow, where the value of the players will be matched up with their salary. It's coming, but it's going to take time, man. It took time to build the league. Magic Johnson, Larry Bird came into the league in 1980, 79, 80. Michael Jordan came in at 84. Michael Jordan didn't get paid his true value until 1997. Think about that. His average salary up until 1997 was just $2.8 million.
Yeah.
Think about that. It was his last 2 years where he got 30 million and 33 million.
And I'm gonna tell the WNBA this: till y'all do right by the Detroit Shock, everything y'all do go wrong. Till y'all, I don't care about no Dallas Wings. Don't nobody tell me nothing about no that day the Dallas Wings. Now, till you do right by the Detroit Shock, everything you do is gonna go wrong.
It's gonna be cursed, man. It's gonna be cursed.
Had to put that Sealy curse on. Had to put that Sealy root on.
You remember last Wednesday when I tried to, watch out for my brother and his emotions? Right here, I tried to watch out, and I told him it's the same story. Yeah, doesn't matter how it starts.
I mean, oh my God, that was a different story though, because how you lose that?
What you mean? I told you the ending was gonna be the same, no matter what. What do you mean? The end is the same.
This disheartening loss. I can't lie to you. I mean, D'Angelo Russell did exactly what I told you he was supposed to do. He was 7 for 8 or something from 3. Anthony Davis had 32. LeBron was on his mission. He's supposed to win that.
But you know what? You know why they lost? It's because Darvin Ham is a fool. He a fool and a half. Ain't no way. Listen, I don't like Tibbs. Anybody who know me know that me and Tibbs, if I ever saw him in public, I would tell him, you to blame. You the reason for the D-Rose knees. You the reason. He should have been playing no 45 minutes again. That's ridiculous. But with that being said, he got it figured out when they come into playoff rotations. Playoff rotations shouldn't be no more than 7 players, max. Especially if you're the lower seed. It should be. What is Dinwiddie doing in a game? What is he doing? Get him out of there. Why is Torian Prince playing? What? No. You should have said, hey, listen, guys, I know y'all work hard. I know we played y'all a lot during the season. It's winning time. Take a seat right next to me. Brian, give me 46. AD, you got all 48, big fella. You got all 48. So I don't want to hear no complaining, no crying, no belly aching. This is what it is. We are in the playoffs. We're not in the play-in no more. We're in the playoffs. And when the playoffs hit,
46 minutes, man.
Well, guess what? Then you ain't with the playoff mission, brother. I thought you was Mr. Zero Dark 30. I thought you was 0 Dark 30. Is it 0 Dark 15 now? What happened?
Yeah, it's 15 now. We need a supporting cast.
Nah, brother. You need to be your tail on that. And here's the deal. If they were to beat the Nuggets, at that point, you can get you some rest. Because there's not another team in the West that I would say they're as good as the Nuggets when they fired at their high school. I don't think there's anybody, including the Timberwolves, who are the number 1 seed. I don't think anybody. Or no, the Thunder, right? The Thunder are the number 1 seed. I don't think that they're as good as
babies.
That's what I'm saying. So you could get him rest in those series. But in this one, hey, big fella, hey, GOAT, get ready. We're going to ride y'all till the wheels fall off in this series. Torian, I like you. Sit your ass down right next to me.
The fact that the Nuggets don't have to do that is the crazy part. They can rotate 10 guys.
They don't. They can rotate 10. If you can, good for you. We can't. I'm sorry. Rui, you out there. Do your best. We ain't putting nobody else out there for you, Rui. Ain't nobody coming to get you at 15 minutes like we normally do. Stay behind out there. That's what we do.
Left, you okay, man? I just
It's
don't
tough
want you to.
watching this.
I
It's tough
try. I just
watching
don't
it.
want you to invest as much as you invest in these dudes,
Listen,
man.
I'm not mad at the emotional investment. Are they on your behind in that Discord? Because if they lost some money off them units, if they down some units, they might be outside your door. Hey, come outside. We just want to talk. We ain't gonna jump you. And I'm gonna tell you, Malik, if they outside with them crowd fixing them Hellcats, you better stay inside. You better not leave the house, please. You better not leave the house. You better. Hey, I got kids in here. Come on, man. Relax. I'll be outside.
They're gonna have to win at home. They're gonna have to get one at home.
Yeah,
still
I do
two
agree.
at home, and then we'd be all right.
You know what they say? It's not a series till somebody wins on the road. So, you know.
All right, before we get out of here, man, we're going to talk about something, Malik, that bothered you. As we started Lucky Lefty, the pre-show, before in the morning show we did, I said, pause, I can't go on the show with my lips looking like this. And I said, let me grab my Vaseline. We start to have an interesting conversation about Vaseline, bro. And I went ahead and I did the research. You know, I hit Siri up and I was like, yo, who invented Vaseline? I just thought it was an interesting question, and it came up with someone called Robert Augustus Cheesebro. Robert Augustus Cheesebro, and you flat out said what when I told you that name?
There's no way that a white guy could have made that. Well, black people use it at 88%, 90%, 100% of his customers. I just don't believe that.
Man, you a nut. You a nut, boy.
I feel like that's a part of history they lied to us about. They lie to us about history. That's one of the things right there. That's how you know somebody's not telling the truth. How can you be the inventor of something that you're not using at a high capacity? It just doesn't make sense.
Well,
how do you know it's for you in general?
In defense of white folks, they do use Vaseline, just not the way that we use it. I've seen, like, for example, there's like when you install a new shower head or whatever, you're supposed to make sure before you put the tape on or after you put the tape on,
right,
there's like a little lubricated so they don't, so like there's no problems there. And like the maintenance supervisor would always take a scoop of Vaseline and just like rub it on his fingers real quick and then rub it on there before he put it on. I'm just saying. So he didn't use it because I was looking at him like, brother, what are you doing? I've been installing shower heads for.
Well, I mean, Vaseline, petroleum jelly, it's all in the same.
Yeah. It's the
so
same.
basically, what you're telling us,
whoever made the one that made it to CVS stores all around the country, that version of the jelly.
Now, I will say,
that version of the jelly, you got some questions.
I will say the version that's specifically for lips and skin, you know, especially the one with like shea butter and cocoa butter. What cheese bro know about cocoa butter? What cheese bro know about shea butter? Come on now. Your name is Cheese Bro, young man. I know you make a mean casserole. Your credit score is 825, brother. You don't know nothing about no shea butter. Let's stop playing. Let's stop fooling around.
So I'm a Carmex dude. You a Vaseline dude? Left.
That's right.
I'm a Carmex dude. He's a Vaseline dude. KG, are you Carmex?
You like that burning that they gives you lips. So.
That Blistex. Now the Blistex is the one that really.
It depends on what I'm using. If I'm talking about lips, I do the Vaseline lip repair joint. That joint is it gets you right. It gets you your lips real soft, man. How you lip, you know. Yeah. I'm just saying, you know, when you bald, you already got a built-in disadvantage. You got to have everything else working in your favor. You got to smell good. Be tall.
I got Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan made ball look good.
Well, Michael Jordan, you know, Jay-Z told us about Michael Jordan. He said, ain't no such thing as an ugly billionaire. I'm cute. I ain't there yet. You know what I mean? I'm not there. I got a medical bill the other day. That thing was so high, I just looked at it and started laughing. I said, who they think gonna pay this? Who y'all think is gonna pay this? They said, you got to be out your mind. So for us regular folk, you know, you got to have everything wrong. You got to smell good. You got to have a good mouthpiece, all that good stuff. You know, Michael Jordan ain't got to do none of that. He can just pull up and, oh man, you wearing my shoes, ain't you, shorty? Come on, let's hop in my Benz. Let's have a talk. You know, it's a different ball game for Jordan. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, you know.
I just thought that was an interesting topic. Left was really upset. Like, man, that dude could not have invented petroleum jelly. There's no way. There's no way. I was like, okay, let's say this for Three's Company because you're a little bit bought into this topic. I think it'll be interesting.
Outside the box.
I mean, listen, it is possible. It is possible that was one of those false patents that was given out where, certain folks wasn't allowed to get a patent. And certain other folks where it could be that situation. It absolutely could be.
So as we end, this whole beef thing in hip hop continues to take a spin as the estate of Tupac is suing one Drake for his use of Tupac's voice and words in one of his diss tracks towards Kendrick Lamar. He used AI. First of all, what did you think about him using AI as a form of a diss? And then what do you think about the lawsuit that's coming from the Tupac estate?
He's trying to get the elimination of Drake, man. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. So they going at all angles.
Man, using AI in a rap beef is corny as hell. Snoop Dogg's still alive. Why you ain't call him and say, hey man, get on the track. I'm dissing Kendrick. Come on, come help me out.
It was a point to show like when Kendrick did it, everybody thought it was so cool how he was making his face change and that. And so when Drake did it, everybody was gonna say it's lame. It was just to point out the irony of the rap beef.
So we're not gonna talk about the fact that Kendrick called those people estates and said, hey, can I use your sons, your husbands, your fathers, your late father's face? We ain't gonna talk about that. And then it's not even that he used it. The words that he used to talk about. The weird part is you doing yapping about, yeah, Drake must talk to little girls. Oh, it must be true because it was on the Button podcast. Brother, what? If you use my late son, father, husband, daughter's voice to talk about low-key a word that rhymes with metaphile, I'm also gonna sue you. You're gonna get sued, Buster. What? Listen, AI has no place in rap beef, okay? AI has no place in rap beef, okay? You say what you want to say it how you want to say it with your own voice. Get whoever you want on the track. Again, Snoop's still alive and kicking. Snoop not dead. Why are you using AI for Snoop? What are we doing here?
Just call him and see if he'll do the verse.
Exactly. Hey, Snoop.
Same way Metro did.
I got Kendrick in the pan right now. I got him filleted. This boy is well done. I mean, that type of steak you gonna shake the table trying to cut. Listen, we got him. Now come on, jump on this track with me. You ain't gotta do all that. Man. It's embarrassing for Drake, if you ask me, on a lot of levels, man. On a lot of levels. And I'll tell you what. Again, I'm glad that beef is staying on rap because that Quavo and Chris Brown beef. I'm worried.
Real beef.
I'm worried. I'm worried about that one. I'm worried. I'm real worried that some things gonna get involved and some things gonna get in play that are beyond rap. That it's gonna go from rap to rip. It's gonna go from rap to rip, and if you know what that means R.I.P. And I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. Those may not be my two favorite people on earth. I may not agree with many of the things they've done in life, but I don't want to see nobody sent on to glory early. Those two need to cool out a little bit. And Drake, cool out on using AI. If you got to say it with your voice, okay? Say it with your voice. Stop it. Don't be a beige bandit out here using AI to incorporate other people's voices. Keep it above the belt. Come on now. It would make me feel like a boxing referee. But point deduction on Drizzy for using AI.
I think Joe Budden might have cracked the code. He might have cracked the code when he talked about Drake probably has the best and worst contract in hip-hop history. And his point was, I've never seen somebody at the top that has to tour as much as Drake does. He was like, when you're on top, you don't tour that much. He said, so it has to be something contractually that keeps him on the road that much. And he said, the same dude, Lucian, that Kanye brought up, runs the same network that had Kanye at the top. He was like, Kanye was Drake before Drake. He said the difference between Kanye and Drake is that Kanye became conscious of how he was being used and was like, nah, I'm not doing this. He was like, Drake is just cool going along with the ride or for the ride. And he said, that's what Kanye is talking about. Like, fam, we've had these discussions. Like, I sat in your crib and told you, like, dude, don't do this because it's going to really mess everything up for everybody else. This is what they're trying to do. Yeah. And he said, Drake is really eating it up. And that's what's ticking cats off. Like, dude, you know what it is. You know why you're popping and you're up top. It's not because you're hard, because you're not that dude. It's not because you're street, because you're not that dude. So don't be out here flexing like that's you, when the truth of the matter is you're an algorithm baby. Doesn't mean that you're not a great artist. You're an algorithm baby, bro. You are the first big artist of that algorithm generation. Kanye was kind of like right before the algorithm really got popping. And I think a lot of people take issue with that and how he's choosing to move within those parameters. And I mean, I'm guessing, but I think Joe Budden kind of put his finger on it and was like, yo, I really think that's the issue. He was like, I understand why Drake might be doing it. And he's like, I understand why the industry and everybody might be upset with him because they feel like, first of all, we let you live in here. We gave you credit to be in here.
Yep.
And now you get in here and we trying to tell you like, yo,
you forgot you were a guest in the house.
Exactly. And now it's become an issue to a lot of these artists. But I'm here for it, man. I need, drop something. Kanye, go on the download next weekend, like you used to do every Friday back in the day, and drop another.
Good Friday drops, yeah.
Drop another one.
Get in the booth.
Get in the booth.
Get in the booth.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Listen, I posted the meme of Uncle Jerome saying, yeah, they're squabbling out there now. Because that's what's going on. I'm seeing some squabbling in the booth. And I'm enjoying it. But again, it's keep it above the board. Keep everything in fair play. We don't want to see nobody get sued out this thing, man. Like that's y'all can all,
Best college football beef going right now. Jim Harbaugh left, so I don't know if Ohio State, Michigan is the same.
Yeah, I agree. That's tough. You know what? I'm gonna say almost all the beefs like fell off hard. Almost all the real beefs in college football fell off kind of hard. But I'm gonna say this, and y'all might not like it. That South Carolina Clemson beef is kind of getting like that. Now that South Carolina is beating Clemson again, it's kind of getting like that.
Allegations.
It's very regional, but they really they hate each other on the level that's like it's beautiful to see. It's beautiful to see. And the only reason I didn't say NC State USC because I didn't want to be biased about it. But Mac Brown did start off his National Signing Day addressing something that Doran said about his team after NC State beat him. So. I'm just saying, the two beefs right there, they're pretty good ones. They're pretty good ones in my opinion.
Let me tell you something. Thank you. Hey, man, Notre Dame fans are the best. LL fans are the best. I got people reaching out to me on social media. Yeah, my daughter is okay. My daughter's okay. She's at a friend's house. She is not on campus right now with everything that's happening at USC. And my prayers go out to those that might be around the fracas. It's crazy. It started like a week ago, when the valedictorian of USC was told she wouldn't be able to give her speech at graduation because she was pro-Palestinian. Mm-hmm. And literally every day since then, it's been bananas, bro. It's been bananas. So I pray for that city, that campus. I just hope everyone ends up being safe at the end of the day. Three's Company, fellas, let's get ready to get out of here on the last note. I will say my one beef, I still think there's a new beef, and that beef is what used to be former conferences and the teams that left it. That's the new beef. That's the new beef in college football.
That's a good one.
You know, the old Big 12 schools.
They hate them from Texas and Oklahoma.
Looking at Texas and Oklahoma like, all right. You know, the old Pac-12 schools looking at Oregon, USC, backdooring them. You know, I told Left, I was like, yo, last year we reported like CW was trying to get a deal with the Pac-12. I said, this is not good. CW?
Not good.
All-American? That channel?
When Spencer James get involved, you cook.
Right.
You cook.
Right.
You're done. That's it. Cut it.
Those are the new beefs, man. The new beefs are all around. TV deals, ESPN and the ACC, beef.
Yeah.
The new beefs are all about money. TV deals, man. I don't even think the rivalries would be the same. No. Texas and Oklahoma being in the SEC, that rivalry would still be buzzing. Georgia and Alabama finally get to play each other in the regular season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we'll see how that turns out. You know, Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame. At this point, Lev, we said it, dude. They got us 1 year with Caleb, but other than that, we've been smacking USC for like the last decade. So, yeah. Get up out of here. Get up out of here. So I man, does Notre Dame even have like a real rival right now?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I want to see y'all start that Michigan Notre Dame game back up. I want to see that game.
They don't want it.
Oh man, that's lame.
They don't want it. They don't want it.
Because I'm gonna tell you, when I was a kid, I grew up hating Notre Dame because I was the world's biggest Michigan fan. I was Ohio State, Notre Dame, Michigan State. Those were the three teams in order. Like you couldn't wear red around me, Ohio State, Michigan week. But Notre Dame was next. That was the team that I was always like, I don't like nothing about them. I don't like their stupid gold helmets. I don't like when they pull out them green jerseys. They ugly too. Everything about them is ugly. Their jerseys is plain. Their field is plain. It was hate. Was player haters ball material. That's what it was. You know, I just think that the rivalries have gotten too friendly now. That's what I think it is, man. You know, back when we were growing up, coaches were punching players, getting fired. Type of stuff over these rivalries. Now it's all, hey man, good to see you, buddy. How you doing? You know, and I know I don't want to take up all the time here, but I'm gonna leave y'all with a quick story on just another reason why I hate the boys in baby blue, also known as the Dirty Foot Club, also known as the Tar Heels. Okay, Cass Tech is known for having the best and brightest of the city of Detroit, all that good stuff. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I'm playing with two kids who are the grandkids of a guy that's recruiting me while I'm at Illinois. Now, I committed to Illinois because I love their coach. I love their granddad.
Whoa. You never told me this, bro.
Yeah, it used to be committed to Illinois.
You had the nerve to decommit from Illinois?
Oh, wait till you hear the end of the story. It's going to make sense.
No. As an alum, you have to explain this one. But
Let me tell you. Kenneth Nelson. That's my boy. He played DN up there from Cass Tech. I love Kenny to death. That's my guy to this day. Now, let me tell you, I was committed to go there because I love their granddad. He was like a granddad to me. I'm like, hey, this is my guy. We good. Mm-hmm. His grandkids tell me he's leaving. I said, what? They said, yeah, man, he ain't going to be there. You know, I said, is he leaving in a couple of years? Because if he leaving in a couple of years, just even to play for 2-3 years, I think that's worth it because he's a great man. He makes a great ball player. They said, no, he's leaving now. I said, no way. They said, yeah, that's all right. Let me go ahead and decommit. Yeah. I decommit. Me and him get on the phone with each other. He said, oh, no, there's no way I'm leaving. My grandkids got it wrong. They got it wrong, man. Da-da-da. I said, okay. All right, cool. So I'm thinking, and Illinois is still one of my final schools. But ultimately, what ends up happening, I commit to NC State and come down here. Now, my true freshman year, tore my Achilles, couldn't play in the UNC game. My redshirt freshman year, when I was a hair away from making freshman All-American and all that good stuff, again, I was all right when I wasn't hurt, which was all the time. But my redshirt freshman year, I had a pretty good game against UNC. You know, we beat them, all that good stuff. And guess who I see on the other sideline? Sitting there smiling like a proud father after the game is over. They're the kid's granddad who I was going to play for at Illinois. So I walked over to him and I said, "Oh, really? You wasn't leaving?" And he was, "Oh, hey, man, how you doing?" And I said, "That's some BS and you know it." And I walked away. And that's the type of stuff. I ain't with all that sucker stuff. I ain't with all that, "Hey, man, you're a UNC guy. I'm an NC State guy. It's all cool. We know each other." Wasn't none of that. Wasn't none of that. And again, it just added to my laundry list of reasons why the Dirty Foot Club ain't never going to be all right with me. It's real beef. It's up with me. My eyes been hurting. I could barely see the other day, okay? I had to get a very good family friend of mine to drive me out to my lawyer office to drop off some documents. When I could finally open my eye and see a little bit, the first thing I saw was literally the Tar Heel logo. That's literally the foot with the like little dirty blue dark mark at the bottom. I got mad. Yeah, man, I was pissed off. I said, "God, you're gonna restore my eyesight for me to see this? This is what you want me to see? It's up. It's up. These players too friendly. They too, we played in high school together. Oh, this was my guy. We went to camps together. I don't care about none of that. I don't care about none of that. You the ops. When you decided to commit over there, our friendship ended, brother. Our friendship ended. If we play the league together or something, we can rekindle it. But right now, we don't got nothing to do with each other."
Would you ever take a North Carolina transfer?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Now he got to perform. He has to repent for his sins. He got to perform 3 Hell Vavanos, 2 Yao B's, and 1 act of attrition, and then he'll be good. He'll be good. She'll be good. But you just can't come over from the Dirty Foot Club without a little bit of apologizing. You gotta get right with the big man upstairs before you do that.
That's right.
This Dirty Foot Club is the most hilarious thing I've ever heard in my life.
Listen, I promise you, they had them chrome helmets with a foot on the side, and the heel literally was dark blue. I said, "Y'all proud of being barefoot and having dirty feet?" I can't relate to that. I ain't never got down like that, baby. We use washcloths over here, okay? We use towels. We exfoliate over here, baby. We don't do none of that.
So I apologize for this list as we get ready to go. There was a list that we kind of teased a little bit earlier, Left, that came out. The top media markets in the United States and which college football team runs that market. I'm going to go down and tell me if this, is something you agree with. I would just like to say that Detroit is not on this list. It's not considered a major market.
Boo.
I'm just saying, according to
now, how many markets is it?
20.
We're not in the top 20?
Have you checked the ratings lately?
Boo. Boo.
New York City. Left, who do you think who runs New York City in college football?
The best place, Notre Dame.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Who runs LA? That's pretty easy.
USC.
Now, this is the shocker that everybody's uptight about. Who runs Chicago, Left?
Northwestern.
And first of all, the fact you said Northwestern is disrespectful.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Is it?
I'm gonna guess. See, you said it's surprising, so I'm gonna guess Ohio State.
Michigan.
Oh, I knew it was Michigan or Ohio State. I knew it. I knew it was one of the two, boy.
Of course, Dallas is Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Houston, you would think it's Texas, but it's actually Texas A&M.
Wow. Well, College Station is closer to Houston.
Yeah. Atlanta, of course, is Georgia. San Fran, surprisingly, is still the Cal Bears. Philadelphia, Penn State. Phoenix, Arizona State. Miami, Seattle, Washington. DC. Who do you think the DC squad is?
I know it's not Maryland because Maryland is Coach Locke ain't got it like that. I'm gonna throw a flower on this one and say USC.
Who you got left in DC?
Is it an ACC team? Miami?
Yeah, it's an ACC team.
Louisville.
Mike, no, Virginia Tech.
Wow.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Wow. I was about that's surprising, but it shouldn't be.
Boston. This is easy.
Oh, BC. BC, of course. Yeah.
No.
What?
No. Are you kidding me?
BC don't run. Oh my God!
I'm gonna give you an opportunity to think about that again. Boston, Irish.
Wow. Okay, so Notre Dame runs Boston, huh?
Absolutely, they run New York and Boston. What? Come on.
BC need to be
It
embarrassed.
shouldn't be shocking to you now.
BC should be
I'm
embarrassed.
sorry.
Talking about Boston.
I apologize. Detroit did make the list.
Yeah, man.
Wow. Look at that.
You know what I'm saying?
What up, though?
We may not be what we once were, but we still in the top 20, baby. We still in the top 20.
So easily, Detroit. Is it really
Michigan.
that easy?
That's
It's Michigan?
Yeah, that's
Really?
super easy. Yeah. Everybody grows up Michigan fans. The only people that like say they like Michigan State is like to piss everybody else off. It's like that one person at the party is like, I want olives on my pizza. Like, you don't actually want olives. You just want to make everybody mad. You know.
Or somebody that actually says they like Detroit style pizza.
All right, watch out.
Tampa,
Yeah. Sean don't like the pizza over there. Yeah.
Exactly.
Tampa is Florida. Denver, of course, is Colorado. Minneapolis is Minnesota. San Diego State. Las Vegas. Who do you think is Las
UNLV?
Vegas?
No, I think that one. Is it USC or Notre Dame? I feel like it's one of those two.
It's USC.
I knew it.
It's USC.
Yeah, a lot of people in Southern California are moving to Las Vegas because they can't afford to live there no more.
Facts.
That's how that's happening.
Facts. And then last but not least is Portland.
Oh, that's UW, ain't it?
You would think it's UW?
It's either Oregon or UW. It's neither?
It's Oregon.
Oh, okay.
It's Oregon.
I don't know how I forgot Oregon.
It's
Oregon. Yeah, that was a bad one. That was a bad misfire on my end.
Hey, man, thank you guys for joining us tonight. Once again, one more episode, Double Duty next Wednesday. And we're only on patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network, exclusively live and also with the audio. So, man, enjoy one more week of Three's company, and then we'll be exclusive. You need to sign up at patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network if you like what you hear and what you see each and every Wednesday right here. You pray for my boy KG, that his eye and the meds take shape. My man's still dealing with the after effects of his accident. Please keep him in your prayers. Thank you for your prayers and your comments concerning everything that I'm dealing with. For my baby girl out there at USC and left is out there in all sunshine. And man, you look like you're still recovering from the weekend with Lil Left. Real talk.
Yeah, Lil Left is everything and some, and I love it.
Once again, happy birthday to Little Left, man. Look, happy anniversary, 25 years of my beautiful wife, Tiffany, man.
Oh, yeah, we love that. We love that.
Black love. We'll celebrate this weekend. My boy Jay Illa has a day party at Promontory in Hyde Park.
What's up? Yes.
It's up, baby. It's up, and we're going to the Oakwood left for dinner.
Yeah, hell yeah.
We're going to the Oakwood for dinner. So we're going to do it right, baby. 25 years, man. Oh, man.
Yeah.
True story.
I
I told her a couple of days before we got married, I said, yo, because my birthday is the day before our anniversary. I said, man, I'm turning 25 the day before we get married, which means I'll be 50 when we turn 25 in wedding bliss. And we laughed about it today. She was like, the fact that you had the audacity to talk about 25 years down the line at that point. I was like, hey, what can I say? You know,
call your shot, baby. He Babe Ruth up there. He said, dead center.
Yes, sir.
400 feet, dead center.
That's right.
I got it.
That's right.
400 feet dead center. 118 off the bat, baby.
Hey, let us see it. Love to see it.
With 34-degree loft, baby. You know
Love
how
to
to
see
do
it.
it.
That's right.
Happy anniversary, brother. Happy anniversary,
Happy
brother.
Hey,
anniversary,
man.
big
We
dog.
love you guys. No day show tomorrow. We did 2 today. No day show tomorrow. We'll get up with you guys tomorrow evening for another edition of Lucky Lefty Podcast. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy NBA playoff basketball because it just punches you after a boring regular season. And we'll watch these Lakers, get, dare I say, swept.
Dare you say it.
Lord.
Dare I say it?
Dare you say it.
Dare I
Yeah,
say it?
dare.
If it's not a real one, it's definitely going to be a gentleman. Either way,
Oh, here we
it's
go.
a
Now
sweet
you move
coming.
the goalposts. Stand on business.
Man, love y'all, man. See y'all, man. Lucky Lefty, Three's Company. We out.